Hello, welcome to Let's Talk Basketball with Rick and Jack, specifically NBA. Hello, Jack.
Hey, Rick.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
How the heck are you?
Wonderful as usual.
You watching a lot of NBA?
Yes.
That's what this show's all about, so we want to get your knowledge on NBA. I mean, trends, how to bet, teams that are winning, teams that are losing, what's going to happen down the stretch. Give us some of your wisdom on the NBA.
All right. So before I do that, I want to ask you about MVP.
MVP, well, it's changed.
Huh.
I don't know if you all saw the injury to Joel Embiid. I thought he was out for the year. When he came down and his knee just buckled, I'm like, oh my God, this guy's out for the year. And, they're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks. He's got a bone bruise, and that's huge in Philadelphia, but they won their first game without him. They play again tonight, but yeah, man, and things change in the NBA. By default, LeBron's going to end up winning it, which I hate, but oh well.
Why would you hate that if he's doing MVP?
He's having a great year, but he complains too much. Every single call, he never made a foul in his life. Don't get me wrong. I got total respect for LeBron James. The man is a great player, a great leader, a great citizen, a great father, a great husband, all that good stuff. But he complains on every single call. Just play basketball.
The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
He got to do,
How many times?
Like Jokic does in some of these guys, please, Mr. Referee, I didn't do that. Don't be so friggin'.
No, because sometimes they miss
crazy.
a call and you got to call them out on it.
Sometimes, watch the Laker game, he complains on every call.
He didn't complain last night.
Well, because no matter what was going to happen, they were going to beat Golden State.
Nah.
They look good. Lakers looked good last night.
Speaking of Golden State,
they need some players.
MVP-wise, I think Curry's having an MVP year.
Yeah, he is. So is Lillard.
So is Lillard. And
so is LeBron.
So
is Giannis. So is Harden.
And
so is Kyrie.
No, not Kyrie.
So is Beal.
I think if Harden was on the team at the beginning of the season and playing the way he's playing right now, I think he would actually run away with the MVP trophy this year. But it's just, because of what happened where he didn't want to play and, in Vegas and chilling.
He's already got how many double-doubles and triple-doubles this year? Harden is playing well. My biggest thing is, I don't know how those three guys are going to fit together when Durant comes back because they're playing great without him. You understand, they're playing great basketball.
And it's one ball.
I think they ought to trade Kevin Durant and maybe get a good defensive player or something because they look good. And the role players, Shimada's playing well. The kid they got from the Clippers.
Well, he had to. Now you see players stepping up and doing things that there's.
Joe Harris, that's my favorite player in the NBA. I love that kid.
He's playing well too.
Hey, he hits that three, baby.
And this is
Brooklyn's going to be tough. I'm just being facetious. Durant's going to fit in, but he's got
But I don't think so. It's one ball, and you have three guys that wants the ball all the time.
Well, let's see what happens.
He may disrupt the chemistry when he gets
temporarily.
Back.
They'll figure it out. I find that the one that suffers when he's in the games from watching them when they were all playing is Harden. He doesn't get many shots. He's facilitating very well, but he doesn't get many shots. But Brooklyn's going to be tough, man. They're going to be tough to beat, and they might pick something up yet. I mean, there's only like 9 days till the trade deadline is over.
With Blake
there, Blake's getting in shape. I saw an interview with him last night, and he's said he's hungry. He's hungry, and he wanted to guarantee everybody he can still dunk because people are questioning whether he can dunk as prolifically as he used to.
You waiting for that first lob, huh?
He said in the interview he could still dunk at the level he previously dunked, which I doubt, number one. Number two, he's hungry. Let's see how hungry he is. I noticed he had a good tan, so he's probably been sitting, in L.A. I'm waiting for them to call him over to Brooklyn, but at least I saw him on the bench last night. That's a start.
That means he's working out with the team.
They said 1 to 2 weeks. He's going to be in shape. Let's get going, man. You're getting paid a lot of money, bro.
Speaking of Blake, do you think he's going to end up replacing Jordan? Because Jordan is actually playing well right now, too.
No.
He got a little spark.
He's a backup center. DeAndre Jordan's playing great.
He's got a little spark in him right now,
He did get a spark. He's even making free throws this year. DeAndre Jordan, I thought his career was over. He was with the Knicks and nothing was going well, and then he came over to Brooklyn and it wasn't that good. And all of a sudden, he's found life again. He's found some hop in his legs. And I'm really impressed by him. I really am impressed by the way he's playing because he had some good years with the Clippers. Brooklyn's tough, man. Brooklyn's tough. Milwaukee's tough. Milwaukee's winning every night right now. And again, that kid Holiday is going to make the difference in Milwaukee, but Milwaukee's winning every night now. Brooklyn's winning every night now. They lose maybe 1 out of every 7 or 8 or 10 games. The Lakers, it's tough. It's tough without Davis. Some of these guys are starting to step up. Kuzma's really taking his role and playing well. Morris is playing well, starting to play well. Dennis Schroeder, I thought he was good in Oklahoma, but I didn't realize how good that guy is. That guy is really good.
He should have been a starter.
Schroeder is a great ball player.
He was a starter.
I love watching him. And the same thing with Trez Harrell. He brings the energy. So the Lakers are in fine hands. They're just right now getting used to playing without Anthony, and it's going to be another couple weeks. But when Davis gets back, they're going to be tough, man.
Speaking of which,
probably will repeat.
With Davis being out for a month now, when he was playing, the Lakers were in the #1 spot.
Yeah.
In the West. Since then, they're in the number 3 spot right now.
That's correct.
With Utah and Phoenix.
Correct.
And you're telling me the Clippers couldn't do anything to jump?
The Clippers have been struggling. But
why is that? They have Kawhi Leonard there.
They have some great players. It's leadership. And they're finding their way. Don't give up on the Clippers.
I'm not giving up on them. I'm just...
The Clippers looked pretty good last night. They got... And this is funny when you talk, I don't want to switch subjects too quickly here, but it made me think about gambling. The Clippers the night before got beat by 30 points in New Orleans, and they went to Dallas last night, and they were a 1.5-point favorite. And I said to myself, my God, they will beat Dallas easy, which they won. Clippers won by 10, but when you're gambling, watch for things like that. When a team like the Clippers loses a game, they are not going to lose the next game. As a matter of fact, the statistic is 7 times this year, after losing a game, the Clippers have won the next game. I just wanted to say that quickly because I know we got a lot of gamblers on our show that like to bet on games. The Clippers don't lose back-to-back. 7 times this year, they're #1. After losing a game, the next game they won. It's a big stat. But don't make fun of the Clippers.
No, I'm not making fun.
He's trying to give my Clippers a hard time.
No,
I like the Clippers, but
I just want to hold
leadership, man.
Hold Kawhi accountable because
night-to-night leadership is weak.
If Giannis was doing this, he'd have been called out on it.
Yeah.
If Durant is doing this, he would have been called out on it. If LeBron is playing like he's playing,
nobody ever calls Leonard out.
No one ever calls him out.
They love to call Paul George out, though.
They'll call Paul George out, but
like
George
Paul
went there to be
out,
the #2. But
yeah.
no one ever calls him out for, hey man,
He's
it's your team.
Right. He's earned that right.
It's your team.
He's earned that right. Don't call him out. He'll fit into his role. He led Toronto. He can lead the Clippers. It's just a matter of finding your roles at the Clippers. They got too many players. They really got a good team. They bring guys off the bench, that are just really fine basketball players. Serge Ibaka didn't play last night, and they brought Zubats in, and Zubats played great last night. Great.
So why in a month they haven't overtaken the Lakers?
Haven't found themselves yet. They will. It's early in the season. They'll be okay.
It's halfway through the season. It's not early.
They're okay. Keep watching them. Keep enjoying them. They'll be all right. Tell me about Portland with McCollum coming back. C.J. McCollum back in the lineup. There's a team that plays hard every night, has leadership. Dame time. Damian Lillard is a great leader. That team plays hard. They've been winning without McCollum. They're #4, aren't they? They're in the #4 spot.
Yes.
Playing well. What are they going to do with McCollum back tonight? They're going to win even more?
No, he's going to slowly come back in the rotation. You have like a guy like Anthony that's, his minutes are probably going to be limited, but when he comes in, he's going to give the team a spark. And I think Portland's going to be one of those dangerous teams that we saw 2 years ago. They were on the cusp of going to the championship, and they fell off because of injuries last year, and then starting this year again, they fell off again.
Injuries again.
Injuries again. So, but then now they're consistent playing together, and to see Melo out there having fun and doing his thing, and I see a bunch of guys in the league now. Everyone's doing the Melo three. So
they're going to be good when Nurkic comes back. That's a real ball club.
I think they're going to be dangerous in the West.
Who's going to beat Phoenix?
I think a Portland can beat Phoenix.
Phoenix is tough.
The big problem is the depth in Utah.
Oh my God!
Utah depth is because they have a Mitchell, but he's good. He's gonna get his. But everybody else say he's great. Everybody else is good on the team. Yeah. So the depth is.
They have a lot of good players.
Yes.
I mean, that's a decent ball club, and when they get shooting, man, they shoot the three like nobody else. When they're hitting with that three, Connolly is playing well this year. He hits the three. That other kid, Ingo, hits the three. O'Neal hits the three. And of course, Donovan Mitchell's a beast. He's a good ball player, and you're good in the middle there. So, in the West, it's loaded in the West, man.
It is.
In the East, it's not loaded like that. I mean, who you really got in the East? You got Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Philadelphia. I mean, who do you talk about after that? Who do you talk about after that that's really going to make a run?
It's not necessarily teams.
Indiana, now that LeVert is back. They got LeVert back, by the way, Indiana.
It's teams that are, in a sense, where you see them on the rise.
Who's on the rise in the East besides three teams?
I like the Knicks.
Miami's not playing well. Did you watch the Knicks last night against Brooklyn? They look like a bunch of lost kids out there playing against men. They look like lost kids playing against men.
They're one player away from making a big splash.
I hope they make the playoffs.
And go on
they got a good coach, Tom Thibodeau, but I don't see the Knicks. How about Memphis? I think Memphis is better than the Knicks. Memphis is a good basketball team, man. With John Morant, you seen that kid play?
Yes.
I love him.
So what about?
I love him.
What about Atlanta? You don't like Atlanta?
Not enough players. Again, they don't have enough. They just don't. They need a couple more players.
So that's the team that's on the up. If they basically would need one player to make a difference.
I don't think one player is going to make a difference in Atlanta. They got Young. They got Trae Young and a bunch of average players. Who can you name other than Trae Young that's on Atlanta that's any good? Who can you name?
Touche.
I mean, you look at Toronto. What are they going to do? They're playing away from home. It's a miserable life. They play in Tampa Bay. They can't even go to Canada because of the COVID situation. So that's tough. What's Toronto going to do? Is Miami starting to play good ball? But again, they're a couple players away. Now Miami, if they get a real good big, Miami's going to be tough. Miami needs a good big. Believe it or not, they could make a run again this year. Toronto, I don't know. The team that befuddles me, and I continue to lose on that I bet on often is Boston. Boston and Utah tonight. Utah favored by 5. I'm taking Boston in Boston. Again, I always take Boston and I always lose. Somebody was telling me the other day, Rick, you've lost more money betting on the Boston Celtics since the playoffs. If you didn't bet them, you'd be way ahead. They frustrate me, man. But they're one player away.
No, they're not one player. They're not one player away. They have the team. I feel like Boston has the team, say, a Utah has when it comes to depth. The problem is playing together, and you need shooters. Your shooters need to be consistent.
Who's any good off the bench in Boston after your starting 5? Who's any good? They're not any good. They bring the kid Williams in the middle. Oh, I've seen him play great a couple times. Comes in for Tice. I saw him play a couple great games, and then he disappears.
But do you think
average player?
Do you think it's a lack of play time?
No. It's a lack of. To me, it's a lack of commitment, game to game and energy. Again, watch the players they bring in. Just watch a Boston game.
So then,
after their first 5, they are not a good basketball team.
So then, why are you picking them tonight?
Because I think
you're a glutton for punishment.
No, they got the big 3 there, and their big 3 are good. But, you know, their other two starters, Smart and Tice. Smart's a hard worker. He reminds me of, you know, a lot of the guy down in Houston that works so hard. What is his name? Anyways, they're going to trade him because he can't take it. But Boston's got some pretty good players. Brown is good, man. Tatum is good, man. Smart is decent. Tice, that's your problem. Tice in the middle. Boston just doesn't have the power inside to win against the great teams. And I just happen to be a Boston fan. Of course, Lakers #1, but I happen to be a Boston fan, and I just want to see them turn the corner. And they just don't do it.
Do you think this year, if they don't, I guess, go further than at least go to the championship or go to the finals, do you think Smart's still going to be a coach there?
You mean Brad
Stevens, I'm sorry.
Brad Stevens?
Yeah.
Man, I said a few weeks ago Brad Stevens should have got fired. I don't think he has control of that team, but they say he's one of the best teams, one of the best coaches in the NBA, Brad Stevens. I don't know that he's going to be there. I'm a believer that Boston goes as Kemba Walker goes. If Kemba's healthy and he's shooting the ball and Tatum's getting his and Brown's getting his and Smart is facilitating and Tice is getting a few rebounds, that's a good 5. My problem is with Boston beyond that. They are not strong beyond that. A disappointment has been Teague. He was a good ball player in Atlanta, and I don't see that guy doing anything. He gets a few minutes, and Jeff Teague was a good ball player. But I don't see him playing well in Boston.
But do you think it's because he's overshadowed with more talented players than him, whereas when he was in Atlanta, he was basically, he had minutes. So
he was the man.
He was able to work on his craft, whereas now he's not able to. You know, there's no consistency. You come in, your body barely warms up, and then you're back on the bench.
Yeah.
So to do anything.
Yeah. Well, you know, the funny thing is in the NBA, the great players are always going to get theirs, and the second great player is generally going to get his. It's always about that third and fourth player. You know, you look at it, the identity of the Lakers now. They're trying to make Kuzma that third player, and I think with Davis out, he's really grown, and I think Kuzma is going to continue to play well this year. And it's really going to benefit the Lakers when Davis comes back. So you look at that. You look at Kemba Walker as that third guy in Boston. He's up, he's down, he's hurt, he's small.
But Kemba's
he gets
supposed to.
But if he hits his 20, they're going to win. But he doesn't hit his 20, 25. He doesn't have that game every night.
Because
in Kemba,
at times I've seen, when I see him shoot, because he doesn't want to go in the middle, it's a guy that he's shooting flat-footed, so he's not using his legs, so the shot's going to be off. And then he doesn't want to go in the middle because his shot's off, so he doesn't want to shoot free throws.
Yeah. Boston is very confusing to me, but I like. I mean, you look at Philly. When you have Embiid healthy, they have again a top 3, but they go as Tobias Harris goes. You know, the two big boys are going to get theirs. Simmons and Embiid are going to get theirs. But it's Tobias Harris going to step up. When I see that guy step up, they play great basketball.
Do you think Harris will step up now that Embiid is out? Because then he has to.
He played well the other night. I mean, it's only been one game, and tonight's another game. We're going to see what happens in Philadelphia, but it's going to be tough without Embiid. I think they're going to fall out of that #1 spot. I think Milwaukee's going to go into that #1 spot. I think Milwaukee's going to continue to grow this year, and Milwaukee-Brooklyn is going to be the championship, I believe. And I believe that Brooklyn's going to be in I'm talking about the championship of the East, Milwaukee and Brooklyn. I believe Brooklyn's going to be in the finals if they stay healthy, and they're going to play the Lakers. All these other teams, Utah, Portland, Phoenix, Clippers, it's all talk. So the Lakers healthy are the best team in the NBA. The Lakers healthy will repeat, even though Harden says nobody can beat his team 4 games in a series. Nobody can beat Brooklyn in a 4-game series is what James Harden is saying. We'll see what happens. There's this guy named LeBron James, by the way.
And there's this thing called...
Great player. I love you, LeBron, but I hate the way you cry on every friggin' play.
But then what about injuries? Like you have a...
Well, injuries are key. Look at Philly.
You have a Durant that for some reason it's hard for him to stay healthy right now. And I guess because of what happened with the Achilles last time, he's nursing it right now. So, what is he going to be available for playoffs? What's going to be
the legs, man. We know you talk about the legs. I mean, when you get the leg injuries, I'm very still concerned about Anthony Davis.
And I want him to stay out as long as he can.
I don't know what Anthony Davis we're going to get when he comes back. You hurt that calf, you hurt that Achilles, you hurt those ankles. It's tough, man. And I just hoping and praying, because he's a good dude and he's a good ball player. I just hoping Anthony Davis is okay.
And even when he does come back, even if it's 100%, what happens is mentally you don't necessarily. It takes a while to trust it to do the same moves that you used to do, so you're not the same player mentally either. I wanted to talk about the Pelicans.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you see them doing in the next couple of years, or even going on a playoff run right now? Because I kind of like the way that they're playing. They look like they're having fun.
There's several games below 500.
Yeah, but this is I'm just saying, as far as trend wise,
they're a fun team.
Are they trending in the right position? Maybe next year a free agency or free agent or sort of help them.
The Pelicans have a ton of talent. Williamson is amazing. Brandon Ingram, he's the man. I love Brandon Ingram. I was sad when he left the Lakers. Ball's playing pretty good. They're not a bad team.
But the three of them, they're young. But do you say sign a veteran next year, or do you say
they're one great player away? They don't need that much there.
So then, would a Drummond help them right now, or is it too late?
Well,
or would
what's the difference between Drummond and Williamson? What's really the difference? They're the same kind of player. So you don't need two. You don't need two of the same player.
What's the difference between Harden and what's his
Kyrie?
name? Kyrie.
There's a big difference. You ever watch Kyrie play? He plays his game well. He has a specific game. He can shoot the three very well. He can get into the interior very well. Harden's a different kind of player. Dribble, shoot the long shot. Dribble, shoot the long shot. Once in a while, fake and go to the hoop. Kyrie, I believe, is a much, much better ball handler than James Harden is. I love watching that kid play.
So then why is he the point guard?
Well, you need a couple of good guards. Why do you need two good centers? It's a specific position.
Well,
Zion, why do they need more than him in the middle? Why would they need more than him? So I don't think that would be a good pickup for them. I think that I believe that they probably need maybe another shooter. Ball's not a big shooter. You got Brandon Ingram. Who else is a great shooter on New Orleans? JJ, his career he's old. After Brandon Ingram, who's a shooter in New Orleans? Who's a shooter? They got nobody. They need somebody to take pressure off of. Brandon Ingram against a good team, the defense picks up, and he doesn't have good games. When they play against an average team, Brandon Ingram lights it up. The Clippers weren't guarding him the other night. He was lighting it up. Plus, he was enthusiastic to play the Clippers.
Are you saying the Clippers are not a good team? You just said
they don't play very good defense when Beverly's not around.
I thought you said it.
Hey, it has a lot to do with Beverly. Beverly's been out. Beverly is a catalyst for their defense, and he's out.
What?
So Beverly's been in and out of the lineup for the last month.
So Paul George, Defensive Player of the Year. You got Kawhi Leonard, Finals
they don't
MVP
look like they're
twice.
Playing much defense.
Defensive Player of the Year. What?
Why you got this thing about the Clippers? Did you lose a big bet? You got the hatred for the Clippers?
No, because no one talks about them like they do every other team.
What do you want to talk about? They'll be okay.
No, they'll be okay.
The Clippers are a playoff team, and we'll see what happens in the playoffs. We'll talk a lot more about this. A lot of basketball to be played, but we could talk about NBA all day long and who's going to do this and who's going to do that. It's a lot of fun, and that's why we have an NBA show that is dedicated just to players and teams and games and coaches. And NBA is a lot of fun. We love it. And the great thing about that, it's always spirited, and we have some great opinions. We want your opinion. What do you think about what's going on in the NBA? One of the greatest games on earth is NBA basketball. We want to thank you for tuning in, watching us, liking us, checking us out at YouTube, Roku TV, WWDBTV, where we love hanging out and doing our shows. Continue to watch. Let us know what your thoughts on the NBA are, and let me know why LeBron complains so much. I would like somebody to tell me that, because such a prolific player, man, I never seen a guy cry so much. Anyways, God bless. Thanks for watching.
also check out our other shows on our channel. We have our talented content creators here, and our executive producer, Mr. John
Styles, extraordinaire.
So please check out our other shows. Here, our channel, there's so much for you to enjoy and so much content. Check them out too.
Well put. WWDBTV, great spot. Not only our shows that we do weekly and always coming up with new shows, there's some other great shows that Mr. John Styles is producing here. Check out WWDBTV, Roku, YouTube. We got a lot of good things going on here, and please like us and continue to watch us. Very well put. Thank you for bringing that up. Have a great week ahead. Good luck with your NCAA tournament and your bracketology. Is that how you say it?
Yep.
Have fun. Have fun this weekend. A lot of basketball ahead. Here comes baseball. But NBA in full bloom, and we're loving it. That's why we love to have an NBA show. God bless. Talk soon.